So it's obviously been an incredibly long time since I've shared a video onto YouTube. Um, Huge thanks to everyone that's left comments or messages asking if I'm okay and what's happened. And my voice might be a bit croaky at the moment because I'm recovering from COVID, but I thought I would share why I dropped off the radar of YouTube. So basically, shortly before lockdown, it all gets a bit muddled in my brain. Um, so I'm guessing this is 2019, no, 2019 through to 2020. My husband, we'd been married for 17 years. We had four kids. I realised that there was something going on, the Seven of Swords, lies and deceit. And I hadn't realised, but it had been ramping up for quite some time. Basically, I began to realise that we were in a severely abusive relationship. It's hard to know how these things start. Um, I guess probably what happened was he kept blaming his unhappiness on me, and being a bit of a fixer, I kept trying to adjust and adapt to make him happy. And every time I did, there was something else that was wrong, to the point that I really lost myself. I lost myself in the marriage, I lost myself in his lies. If we look at the Seven of Swords, I this I lost myself. That's the only way I can describe it. I lost myself in trying to mend an unmendable marriage with a man that did not want to be married to me anymore. It all came to a head, incredible timing. Um, Basically 2 weeks before lockdown in the UK. I had a call from an outside agency basically telling me that they felt that I was at risk and that either I removed the children from the family home or they did, because they felt it was no longer a safe environment for the children as well. Um, I felt utterly powerless. I didn't know what to do, but that motherhood instinct kicked in, and I left that day with my four kids. Oddly, I had actually planned to go to Denmark to lead a sweat lodge there with my eldest son was going to do some martial training. I was going to run a sweat lodge with some friends over there. So a very good friend gathered up three of my children for me. We met at a service station and she took them home and it was amazing. I flew to Denmark as promised, or as planned, with my eldest son, and it was just what I needed was a week out there, really just connecting to my gods and my guides and my friends. And I came back to the UK. My husband had moved out of the property, and I was a single parent, four kids. I make all of my money from my tarot and my shamanics, and so I just put my head down and thought, right, got to get on with this then, got to up level the business, got to start earning my money. And of course, a week later, Britain was in lockdown. Now, at that point, I think probably 80% of my income came from in person work. It came from people coming to me in my caravan in my garden, where I did either tarot readings or shamanics. And I earned my money through holding in person tarot and shamanic workshops. And I was floored, basically, utterly floored, did not know what to do. So Three of Pentacles, I just put my head down and got on with it. I worked out how to use Zoom. That was complicated. I then worked out the drum doesn't work on Zoom because obviously I am a shaman as well as a tarot reader. Um, I worked out how to book appointments on Zoom, how to do shamanics on Zoom using my chant, how to teach tarot on Zoom, how to hold my circles on Zoom, and it really, I would say, for me, lockdown, it almost became frustrating because of course so many people were not working or working from home, and almost experiencing a sort of a holiday. And I was still suffering from flashbacks, PTSD, and trauma. The breakdown of the marriage was not easy, and it was, there was abuse and violence there. I had four traumatized teenagers who were suddenly now in the first ever national lockdown, not able to see friends, not able to go out. It felt really scary. And it felt scary because my main way of earning money was no longer available to me. So I just put everything into building an online business, still doing what I do. But I had no time or energy left for anything else. I really didn't. I stopped doing Facebook Lives. I just was working on basically client work, which is, of course, paid by the hour. So I survived. We survived. Lockdown ended. And I was finally able to begin to work through some of my trauma. And what I decided to do, and I've just realized I don't think it's within reach. So foolishly, I'm not quite as prepared for this video as I thought I would be. I decided to write a book. They say everyone's got a book in them, and I thought, right, well, let's see if I have. So I collated my original tarot notes that I had written when I first started teaching, and was really shocked to realize just how many words there are there. And through talking to students and friends, we came up with this concept of taking my original tarot notes, which is explaining each card in detail, and weaving my life story, including the toxic end to my marriage, through the tarot notes to create an autobiography and a practical how to tarot book. And so that's what I did. Of course, I did that whilst working very long hours as a professional tarot and shaman, and also educating and homeschooling 4 children as a single mum. So I cannot tell you what the hours were like. They were extraordinary. I'd like to think that life is beginning to get back to normal now. Over 2 years on, or roughly 2 years on, it feels like it is. Um, the book is published. You can You're going to be able to buy the ebook off Amazon super soon. Publishing a book and selling it on Amazon means that my publisher, despite the fact that I actually chose to pay in advance for the publishing, thinking foolishly that I would earn more royalties that way, no. If you buy it on Amazon as a book, basically Amazon and my publisher take the vast majority of the money, and I'm left with a few pence. The ebook's not so bad. I actually get much more from the ebook. So what I am doing is I'm selling the book on my website. I've paid for a print run, which arrived yesterday. And if you head to my website, I'll put a link in the comments and go to buy my book. It's all automated. You can order a copy of my book. There's postage costs depending upon where you are in the world, and you can ask for I feel very weird saying this, but you're welcome to ask me to sign it as well. I had my first in-person client buy my book today, and she said, "Will you sign it?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, what do I put?" So if you want to head to my website, there's a link there. As a thank you for buying direct from me, as an indie author, I'm putting in a little package in there as well. I'm wondering if I can reach a book without losing too much the video. Hold on a minute. There we go. So let's have a look. Here it is. Tarot, a life guided by the cards. This is when I asked people what should the front cover be? Everyone said your desk. Here is my desk, very cluttered with tarot, as you would imagine. Far too many cups of coffee, crystals, pens, the runes I tend to write when I'm trying to work something out. So that's what people said. Put a coffee on there, put your crystals on there, and people said put your cards on there, not some photoshopped image. So there it is. It is not a picture book. It is. I've tried to create a readable book. I've tried to create a book that people can sit down and read, and I've really tried to make it applicable to everyday life. I think so often tarot books become quite academic. So I've tried to make it readable, and basically what you've got here is where you get the italics. That is me adding to the notes that I wrote sort of 8, 9 years ago. So I've tried to cover everything. When it comes to spreads, I don't think I'm there right now. Rather than having a list of spreads is right at the back. I'm not sure I can manage um, to actually do that on camera. I think that spreads there. Rather than doing a list of spreads, I've tried to talk about how a spread works, how to create an accurate spread. There we go. And do lots of examples of real spreads that I've done for me. Because to me, if you can understand how a spread works, then you can create your own spreads. And I think that's really important. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing. I have been escaping a toxic marriage, raising my kids, taking my business from being a profitable side gig, which it was, I was very blessed, but to a full time income for my family. And looking at the side, writing and publishing my book. So thank you so much for all the messages. It has been a monumentally shit 2 years, where I really had to only focus on the things that I really, really needed to. And I've missed sharing videos here. I love talking about tarot, and I'm really planning to come back to YouTube and start sharing more regularly again.